Okay, welcome back. Now, a growing number of cargo ships have come under attack in the Red Sea. Authorities are monitoring tensions in the Red Sea and shipping firms are now avoiding the Suez Canal. Now, the Suez Canal is, one of the two very important sort of pass-through canals for shipping routes from Asia to North America and other global shipping routes. The other, of course, is Panama, which is already actually facing disruptions. Now, Suez is the more important one out of the two, between Panama and Suez, and this could aggravate shipping rates. And B, it could also lead to fresh supply chain disruption. I mean, if you remember back in 2021, you had this massive surge in container rates. Let's talk to an expert about this. G Shivakumar is Executive Director and Chief Financial Officer at GE Shipping. He's joining us on the phone line to tell us what this would mean. So good morning. Good to have you with us here. Prashant this side. Tell us, how serious is the situation? Shipping liners are saying, including some of the largest in the world, that they will now redirect traffic through the Cape of Good Hope, which is a lot longer. What does this mean for rates out there and supply chain disruptions eventually?
Good morning, Prashant. The situation in the Bab el-Mandeb and the Red Sea is evolving rapidly every day. And yes, I think 4 of the largest shipping lines have said that they will avoid the Red Sea and now use the Cape of Good Hope route, which of course adds a lot of days to the voyages, which is again going to have a couple of effects. One is, of course, to make it take more time to reach, let's say, a Chinese export or of finished goods or Middle Eastern exports of oil, which we haven't come to yet. But for the containers, it'll take more time to reach. Obviously, it makes the market tighter, which makes it, again, rates will probably go up because the market becomes tighter. You need more ships for the same amount of work. But it's rapidly evolving, and anything could happen. It could settle down or it could get worse.
How will it, there are U.S. forces which are already there, present, right, monitoring these routes. And this has just happened. These shipping liners are saying that we are stopping use of these routes. Will this last? You're saying it's fast developing, but what could change, in your opinion? I mean, what will get these shipping liners to say that we will use this route once again?
Yeah, so there's a convoying which the U.S. Forces have said that they will do. So that was a flash news of yesterday, last evening or last night, which could give some comfort. And again, it depends on how effective that is, because it's difficult even with a convoy, a drone drone attacks. So we'll have to see how practical it is. It's of course going to lead to delays, and we've seen this convoying happen in the times when piracy was rampant. It does lead to delays.
Okay.
So,
Mr. Shivakumar, sure, good morning. We understand the situation at hand, but what does this mean for tanker rates? Earlier, when you spoke to us, you said that crude tanker rates has shot up to almost $50,000 to $55,000 per day. Where is it currently, and do you see it moving up further?
So markets haven't reacted yet. Markets are still pretty good. Crude tanker markets have been strong. What this does is, so about 10-12% of the world crude trade flows through this area, through the Bab el-Mandeb, the Red Sea and the Suez Canal. Now, if you have to reroute that via the Cape of Good Hope, that means, depending on the voyage that you're doing, between 20 and 60% extra time. Now, if you just apply, say, an average of 40% on 10% of the trade, that's 4% extra demand for ships or reduced supply. The market is already really tight. And a 4% further change in demand-supply balance could make it much tighter and therefore increase rates quite a bit.
So
again,
how much? I'm just trying to understand, like, what is it currently at, the rates as of today? And when you say increase rates quite a bit, what is the indication?
So one is rates have not reacted to this yet. So you have product tankers earning, around $30,000, $35,000 a day. you have crude tankers earning between $40,000 and $60,000 a day. Not yet reacted to this situation. And there's been not much change in the last 3-4 days as the situation has evolved. Once, you get, and it's very tough in a tight market to see what, suddenly if you have a further disruption, it's really tough to call what can happen, because then it just takes off, right? Then you just have to pay whatever it takes to get the ship if the market gets that tight.
Okay. All right, Mr. Shivakumar, very quickly before we let you go, the smaller part of your business is the offshore revenues, that's the rigs business. Out there as well, it's obviously for a longer term, the lock-in rates. But in the quarters to come, there could be a bump up in terms of revenues. I was just looking at it, it's just 20% of your business, but it's contributing 250 to 260 crores. Do you see this number go up drastically? And I think majority of it will flow down to the margins, right? As of now, you're doing mid-teen margins. Give us some color with the way ahead.
Yeah, the last bit is correct. So whatever rate improvements come will mostly flow through to the at the EBITDA level because costs are sort of inflexible. We have a little bit of inflation, but that's a small part. This will take some time to come through because as the rigs get repriced, all the rigs are on 3-year contracts. So as they get repriced, this will come in. We will get the full impact of repricing only in FY27. Of all the current repricing, because we have 2 rigs coming off contract in FY25, 1 rig coming off contract in FY26. So for getting a full year of new earnings will take 2 to 3 years.
So gradually on a quarterly basis from 250 crores, we're likely to see this trend up, right, in the next few quarters as a couple of rigs get repriced.
We're past the bottom of the market. Yeah, that's the bottom line. Yeah.
Just a few more questions, Mr. Shivakumar, for if this issue becomes... So, for example, I was looking, the Shanghai containerized freight index, it's up some 10% since the end of November, right? If this were to escalate and it becomes, the rates shoot up, how will this impact, your inventory out there in the market? How much of these are on day rates and how much is it locked in? Your fleet?
No, so we don't have container ships. So,
not container. I'm saying that I was just giving an example.
What's likely to happen in the container ship market?
Yeah, not container ship. I was just giving an example that if rates start to for product or oil tankers, etc.
Yeah, so most of our fleet is open to the spot market. So we have 24 tankers, of which 4 are on fixed rate contracts, and the rest are open to the spot market. Okay. So we will get the impact. Yeah.
Okay. And one more question. The large impact as you see it, for container traffic, this passage is much more important, right? I mean, I think the Suez is about 34% of the container traffic. But correct. For product, etc., it's under 10%.
It's about 10%, plus minus 2%, yes.
So the larger delta, the larger impact perhaps should show up in container. Would that be the correct way to look at it?
That's correct. That's correct. But the container market, the starting point is not as tight as a tanker market. The container market is weak. So, it'll take some time for it to get to full strength. It takes a lot of impact. But yes, the impact of this incident is much more on the container market.
Okay, but the product market is already tighter. So it'll...
it's already tight. Yeah, crude tanker and product tanker rates are already tight. Markets are already tight.
Got it. Mr. Shivakumar, thank you very much for joining us this morning and explaining the implications of this important story. We'll keep coming back to you as this story develops. As you said, every day is a new day, and this is fast changing scenario out there. Sonia.
Absolutely. All right. We keep an eye out on GE Shipping.